Kevin McCullough.
And welcome back to Times Square. Kevin McCullough, glad to have you with us and hoping that your weekend is just peachy. You know that the last few weeks I've been super hyper excited about this little group called oilfacts.com I've been telling you about. And all, disclosure, I've known about them from the beginning. I believe in what they're doing. I'm a big fan of what they are. But this week they released another round of facts. And I just want to put this in front of you. Did you know that extreme poverty in 1980 was 42% of the planet? And today it's less than 10%. There are those that will try to tell you, the crazy AOCs of the world, hey, papi, I tell you about electric cars. No. Electric cars haven't saved anybody's life. You know what has? Fossil fuels. Here to discuss is Ed Kovalik of oilfacts.com and the CEO of Prairie Operating Group, the group behind oilfacts.com, which is just rising in lore across the energy spectrum on planet Earth. Ed, it's good to see you again. Thanks for coming back.
It's great to be here today, Kevin.
I love hearing these little stories about how word's getting out about oil facts and people are starting to use it and they're telling their friends to go and they're finding out things they've never known before. I mean, this is the purpose of why it's there, correct?
Hey, truth is infectious. And, we're here to, I guess, tell the truth about energy because there's been so much mistruth told.
Yeah. Well, let's start with the little fact that I enrolled there. In 1980, 42% of the planet felt a version of extreme poverty. Today, it's less than 10%. AOC tells me that fossil fuels have ruined planet Earth. What's the truth?
When you look at the correlation of increased lifespan, decreased poverty, and increased use of fossil fuels, all of those things correlate nearly 100%. Fossil fuels account for 80% of all energy used on the planet today. So to argue to the contrary, makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. The numbers just don't add up. And at the end of the day, if you take away 80% of the energy of the planet and eliminate fossil fuels, I think we're all going to go back to living in caves and, being hunters and gatherers. And, the planet can't really sustain 8 million and a growing population of hunter-gatherers. So, I think fossil fuels are directly responsible for human flourishing. And the math is really simple.
Well, and let's just be very candid. The argument to the counter is not an argument that's ever made for the welfare of human beings. It is an argument that a political agenda is trying to get across because they want to control aspects of your life. They don't want you to have the freedom that fossil fuels give them. Let's talk about this. And last time you were here, we unpacked it just a little bit. But Russia and Iran have gotten very wealthy on the calendar of Joe Biden and the entire stifling of American energy. He comes in, eliminates the Keystone Pipeline, stops all the leases, says no more, and immediately the price of a barrel goes up. Iran and Russia get rich, and what do? They start wars. I've heard you say publicly that as an energy executive, you're not even hoping, you don't even need a price of a barrel of oil to be at $80 or $100 a barrel, which is where those guys really do get rich. You would be glad to see a $40 barrel of oil, but you're the head of an energy company. How does that work?
Yeah, look, I mean, the U.S. is so innovative. That's what we're known for above and beyond anything else. And that innovation, has also been applied to the oil and gas industry. We've figured out over time and a lot of capital invested how to make oil for much lower prices. The average price of production in the United States for shale drillers is probably in the $20 to $40 a barrel range. I don't think $40 is really a long-term sustainable price, but I think everybody in our industry would agree that a $75, $70 price is probably a long-term sustainable price. However, when you look at that $75 barrel today, in today's terms, factoring all the inflation that's happened and factoring all the currency inflation that's happened relative to other currencies, there's really a $20 premium baked into prices today that are just currency and inflation adjustments. So
wow.
$75 barrel today At the onset of the shale revolution 20 years ago was really just a, $55, $60 barrel. And when you look at the petro states like Russia and Iran, who don't make anything but natural resources, they don't make anything but oil predominantly. They have to rely on a much higher price of oil. And, I think there's a clear relationship between all the geopolitical unrest we're having in those hotspots around the world. And to say that that's not related to oil, I think would be a pretty difficult argument to make.
Well, and it makes it very easy for me to understand how President Trump's saying he can, upon becoming president-elect, end the wars in Ukraine and Israel, because he has the big bully club of energy to say, no, baby, we're going to open up America and we will bankrupt you. And we should be bankrupting the bad guys. I'm not going to even apologize for saying that. I know some people watching would be like, oh, Kev, how can you say it? But it's true. We should be trying to do what's right for the planet. Speaking of which, I've heard you use this term in some of your press hits over the last few weeks. Prairie Operating Group produces the world's cleanest molecule of energy. How?
Well, this comes back to the point that I harp on repeatedly, which is American ingenuity and innovation. We have, as an industry, come a long way. We're really the least emissions-oriented place to produce oil and gas. We produce the cleanest molecule as compared to anywhere else in the world. People in these other countries, they just don't care. Do you think, folks in Basra, Iraq are focused on lowering emissions, or the Venezuelans are focused on lowering emissions? We actually care about clean air and clean water and being responsible stewards of the environment. And the last time I checked, we all live on one planet. It's called Earth. We all share one atmosphere. And so to feed the world, and there is still a tremendous amount of energy poverty in the world, but to feed that world and bring those people out of poverty, we need more incremental energy of all forms, and in particular fossil fuels.
Ed Kovalik, always appreciate you. The website, friends, is oilfacts.com, oilfacts.com. Go. They have a newsletter. You can sign up and be informed of facts as they continue to release them in the days and weeks and years to come. And we hope you'll check that out. Oilfacts.com, all one word, OIL, oilfacts.com. Coming right back to Times Square. It's Kevin McCullough. Don't go away.
Stick around for more of That Kevin. Next, That Kevin Show with Kevin McCullough.